What do you do when you just don't know what to do with your kids? Like, what happens? What do you need to do? Or is there anything you can do? Well, we're going to take a look at that today. So here lately, I've been kind of overrun with parenting issues. Like, I have clients that are younger than I've ever seen before, and it's basic behavioral changes that need to be done. But these littles aren't going to know that they need to be done unless somebody steps up, right? So, what do you do? How do I help this child when their parent is bringing them and it's actually a parenting issue? Well, the one thing that I've learned is that you have to be real and you have to be honest. And it sucks and you piss people off sometimes, but it has to be said. Your child will only act out if you make excuses and approve of it. Now there are those that have other behavioral issues that yeah, there's no parenting change, but for the majority, it's a parenting issue. Um I have a referral. I had a referral for a kid that was like in Head Start, 3 years old with behaviors and the parent was telling me all that was going on while she was on her phone doing this and I'm like, this is the problem. This is exactly what's going on. W- Let me tell you why you're here. It's not the child. It's the way that we interact and we engage and what we're doing with that child. Okay? And needless to say, acting out and getting negative attention is better than getting no attention at all, right? It's said everywhere. With that being said, um, if you're seeing that it's happening with just the family or just the mom, the dad, just the mom, just the dad, whichever, or and these behaviors are just nonstop with that one person, guess what? Generally, you'll see it's those that who do not just let the child do anything they want. They get a different behavior than the child or the parent that gets everything they want. And I'm not just talking about young kids. I'm going to go all the way up to my olders, 15, 16, 17, 18. Anybody that's being parented, generally, you'll see has better behaviors for those who redirect, recorrect, and engage themselves into parenting as much as needed. So, meaning that, um, if Johnny's mom is like, no, you're not doing this until you get your chores done, and you're not going to do this until this is done, and this and this and this, and you're not going to treat me like this, and you're not going to talk to me like this. And, if there are strict boundaries, there's strict parenting. Um, but yet on the end, she's like, okay, you got everything done. Let's go do what you want to do. You want to go, walk around and, I don't know, hang out with your friends, let's do it because that's the way that she parents. She requires the work before she just allows whatever he wants. But Johnny's daddy says, you don't have to do nothing, just go ahead and go. Who do you think's gonna get ran over more, mom or dad? Probably dad. Probably dad. And the concern to me from the outsider looking in is that it's setting up for bad behaviors that can go into lifelong long problems. I have a kid that's hitting, kicking, biting, punching, and it's only at mom because dad doesn't allow it. Well, if mom doesn't get grasp of that now and change that behavior now, in 20 years, 30 years, he could be hitting, kicking, biting his wife because that's what it's acceptable for the female to do. No, 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 no. So, what we teach them today sets them up for the future. Not just educationally, not just in schools, publicly. It sets them up for their future. And that's why it's important that we engage now and not later. That's why we have to work with parents as well as with the child. You know, um, we have to make those changes from the parent going down. And it will be hard, as we start going through parenting and we start learning that, oh, it's okay to be that strict parent, or be the parent with rules, or be the parent that requires work before play. As we go through that, we will see it's going to be very, very difficult at times. Okay. But the end result will be is that there will be a better dynamic and better communication, and there will be a respect that's not present with those that don't have those. I can tell you that, I mean, I know when I was younger, I would get in trouble for not doing my work. Like, that was just a given. Like, you didn't do your work, you got in trouble, right? You got grounded. And if you got grounded, it wasn't from a cell phone or a tablet, or it was, you can't play with your friends until this is done. Oh, okay, let me do that. Well, today we have a lot of parents that just feel that it's abuse to be taking things away from them. You know, they think it's abuse to say no, you can't watch your TV. I was one of those people. I just I let my daughter do whatever she wanted to do whenever she wanted to do it, and it's why. Why? Because I felt bad, because I was overcompensating, because I didn't want her to hurt or be sad. Well, guess what? Later in life, she's going to be hurt and sad, and she's going to be still having to do what she didn't want to do. Period. You know? Um, I have suggested parents, take away the tablet, take away the phone. Like, what would happen if you just didn't have a phone? That would put these kids today over the edge. But it's hard for me to do that. Like, I can't suggest that this mother take away a phone or a tablet time for this kid when all she's done the whole session is played on her phone. Like, that's not going to happen, because then she would need to ground herself and get herself off her phone to engage. And that's just how a lot of parenting is done now. um, Kids today will never know what it's like to be home by the time the lights come on outside. Kids today won't know what it's like to be able to, go swimming at the pool without somebody there. You just go have a good time, and um, don't get in trouble. Don't do things that are bad. Um, and that was our reward, is if could go and follow the directions and just not have a bad day, but had a good day, then we could go again tomorrow. That was enough of a reward for us. You know, um, if we did our chores and helped out, the thing for me is I don't ever remember, like, clean your bird, I had basic chores, right? These kids don't even have chores today. And if they do, they're not held accountable for them. And when I tell you that parenting, when it's all talk, no action, it is damaging. You know, nothing I hate more than hearing, if you don't stop, I'm going to do this. And then nothing's ever done because they're still going on that should have been stopped. But they don't stop because the child knows nothing's ever going to happen. Right. And so it's time as parents to stand up and say, what do we expect from our children? And what are we doing to make sure that our expectations of them is being good, being healthy? Okay. We can't expect our child at 1 to know how to brush their teeth and all the things. We have to do that for them. We can't expect our child that's 5 to be a straight A student and, come home and do all the chores. That's above their grade. So we have to learn as parents to match what they can do. And in order for some people to do that as parents, you have to stop and you have to reevaluate the whole situation if you're having issues, and realign it. Because a lot of times we get in these routines of just wanting to be the friend, don't hurt their feelings, don't say anything wrong. A lot of parents are intimidated by, uh, public services, like we have Department of Human Services here. They, will we can't get onto them because Department of Human Services will step in. And the sad thing is that that's not true. If you are getting onto them and redirecting without beating them, starving them, I think you're pretty kosher, I think you'll be okay. Now you start laying hands on them or you start being abusive to them, like make them sit outside when it's freezing, you're gonna need to get some you're gonna get in trouble. But you've done that. But if we are redirecting in positive ways and requiring behaviors to be present in order to live the best life, like if you're doing all your chores and you're helping out at home and you're keeping your grades up and, you know, um, you're doing all that's expected of you, then of course go spend the weekend with your buddy. We have to stop being the parent that asks for everything and gives nothing, you know? Parenting doesn't come with a handbook. I get it. There's no rule book that says parent this way. None. Okay. But what I struggle with is that when I have clients that are like healthy, doing well, happy, thriving in life, confused about why their child is not, well, they aren't getting the same parent that you got. My mom was invested, a lot in us kids. And honestly, my brother was invested in us because he had to help. Back then, that's what happened, you depended on family to help. And now you can't even ask an older sibling to watch the kids sometimes, because, oh, he'll just act out. He's not any good for her. Well, no, he probably would treat her better than he treats you as long as she has some rules. And I see things in today like that just floors me. I get if you need a little DVD player in the back of this car while you're driving down the road 20 minutes and you push play. I'm not criticizing that. Not at all. I get why technology is in school today because they're able to provide education in a way that is healthy. Okay. But I also don't understand how I am seeing parents that are letting technology be babysitters. If your get up and go is to put your child in front of a tablet, a TV, Coco Melon, or any other thing that becomes there every day, think about it. Think about what's going to happen. Think about how that's going to affect them. Think about the outcome of that. You know, if you're a parent that thinks that it's okay for your 15-year-old to be having sex with people, you know, because you don't want to tell her no, or you don't want to keep her at home because that'll hurt her feelings, do better. Do better. You know, at 15, I wasn't talking to my mom about those things. Not at all. My mom did put me on birth control. My mom made sure that I was using, that I was covered if needed, you know, but I hear full blown conversations where like, yeah, this guy that I was with last week, he wants to date my mom, and mom's like, hee. That's not funny. That's weird. That's weird. Do you want to raise a grandchild? Like what's wrong with saying that's not okay? I'm not saying that you can stop them, but you don't have to condone everything. Parents are so worried about being friends with their kids. And I get it because the world's scary today. I get it. But I don't understand how it's beneficial in every aspect of life. How I'm going to be your friend is that I am going to listen to you and I am going to give you my communication just like your friend would. But my communication to you is going to be parental. I can be your friend and listen, and I can be your friend and give you advice, but my advice is going to be that of a parent because that's who I am. That's who I am. I'm not supposed to just free willy it and say, yeah, let's go get high together. No. For one, it's not legal for you just to go out and get meth and get high, let alone give it to your child. That's like something that dumbfounds me. Like, we're just so okay being friends with our children. And in the end run, the behaviors can be ridiculous. Um, the outcome can be horrible. Again, I'm not telling you to traumatize your children either. That's not what I'm saying. But you got to learn your part in their life. You've got to make yourself present for them. You've got to stop giving in to everything they want and need. They say they need because, I needed a lot of stuff that I didn't really need when I look back at it now. And you just got to be there. You got to be willing to, Be there for your children. Be 100% available. Um, and I think that this really is just something that's hitting me really hard right now because, like I said, I have done intakes on probably 6 new parents bringing their children, and I'm just like, I don't know, I don't know. I don't know. And I can tell you I didn't get spanked all my life. I didn't get beat. So my mom wasn't abusive, but I think I turned out pretty decent, you know? I learned young what yes and no was. I learned young what rewards and consequences were. And it wasn't because they were labeled reward. It was the reward was you get to do what you want to do. Um, I learned all of that because my parent was a parent, you know. Um, we didn't have to have Coco Melon running all the time or anything running cartoons or anything running all the time. My mom was a parent, and if my mom couldn't parent, my mom had a sitter for us, or I was with my dad that was also a parent, or my brother was taking care of us, or my grandmother was taking, like we had others that were willing to be parental roles in the absence of my mother if she was at work or whatever. So, um, think about it, guys. You can't blame a child for behaving the way they have unless you've sat back and looked at yourself. And if there's any questions that you're going, maybe I should do this instead, then there probably is something. Again, I do have those that have horrible behaviors. And I say horrible, their behaviors is bad. They're not bad kids, their behaviors are bad, you know, but they've had a long slew list of things that interact with that and reasons why. So it's to be accepted. I'm not expecting 100% all kids to be perfect, Not all kids are the same. We all are different. So that's just my little tidbit about parenting. I don't know that I've touched much on parenting before, but it is very important to me. And the more I see, the more I want to discuss and the more I want to create change and help there and help others, understand. And it could be hard and you might not like what you hear, but if it gets the results that you're really wanting as a parent, be open to trying something different, right? So that's all I have for tonight. I hope you guys come back at the end of the week so we can have another conversation. And until then, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and have a great week. And bye for now.